Hello everyone. So I have to fucking rant because I am really fucking tired of bullshit. Specifically, cisgender men's bullshit. So I I got on Tinder. Um, Let me preface this story by stating I've been looking for a cisgender male to be with, to be my partner for about 21 years. And well, I'll leave it at that. So 21 years. I've met a lot of guys, encountered a lot of guys, dealt with a lot of bullshit, and 21 years is, I mean, that's time for a human being to grow up and start drinking legally. So that's how fucking long I've been looking for a decent guy. Um, on and off, it hasn't been every day, of course, because I don't have the mental um, faculties to dealing with asshole men every single fucking day. So I uh, I got on Tinder and started talking with this guy, and we decided to meet at a coffee shop, and so we set it up, and I went there, and he kept saying, like, he kept pressuring me for like pictures, and kept pressuring me to show up earlier, and all this stuff, all of which were red flags. And I was like, okay. But I thought, maybe I'll meet with this guy and he won't be such a douchebag. I mean, you know, yeah, if he's that much of a douchebag in text and online, then he's going to be probably even more of a douchebag in person. But again, 21 years. So, I'm like, alright, well, I don't want to judge this guy prematurely. So I show up at the coffee shop, and he texts me and he says I'm inside. Well, before we had met there, I had gotten the make and model and color of his car, and so that I could identify it in the parking lot, because I wanted to meet outside. If there was going to be some kind of an incident, I wanted it to be outside, and not inside. More just for my own personal preference. If it were inside, it would probably there'd be more witnesses, but I really didn't want to have to deal with a scene being made inside. So I'm waiting there, and he's like, I'm inside, and I didn't see his car. And I'm like, what Starbucks are you at? Are you at this one? And he's like, and he says, well, maybe I went to the wrong one. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I sent him the address of the Starbucks, and he said he had GPS. So how could he have gone to the wrong one? Yeah. And then he texts me and he says, um, well, why don't you come to mine, to his Starbucks, the Starbucks he was at? I was like, no, we had arranged to meet at this specific one, and I'm now at this one, so show up or don't, but, you know. And, he's like, well, um, can we go home afterwards? I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. You know? This asshole didn't know I was trans or anything else, because that's my fucking business, no one else's. And it's like, and I'm like, and he's like, we can watch a movie, and I'm like, fuck no. Um, Fuck no. And he's like, we can watch a movie at a theater, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I just came home, and I picked the coffee shop that was closest to my house, so I wouldn't waste too much time or money on gas. Because this isn't my first fucking rodeo. I've been down this fucking road too many times before, dealing with flaky, douchey, cisgender guys. And I can tell you, after 21 fucking years, they're all flaky and they're all douchey. I know a bunch of fucking men are gonna get their men and boys are gonna get their fucking panties in a twist about that, but fuck you. Chances are, if you're a cisgender male, you've been an asshole to some woman at some point, and needlessly so. No, fuck the whole cisgender male race, because I don't even see them as human at this point. Every time I do encounter a male who does display a degree of kindness, compassion, sensitivity, and respect, he's always taken, always married. Well, there's a fucking reason for that. It's because women have to put up with so much bullshit from these stupid, goddamn, selfish, narcissistic piece of shit cis men that we are just fucking done. And when we encounter one who has any humanity at all, we don't want to let them go. And look, I have my standards, okay? We all do. We all have our preferences, and that's fine. But, my standards are set pretty high. And they weren't set high by me. They were set high as a reaction to the way men have treated me. I'm not going to go and screw some guy and not even have any kind of a fucking date. Even if we had a date, I wouldn't screw him on the first date. And you encounter guys who are like, well, if you don't have sex with me on the third date, then it's a waste of time. It's like, well, then fuck off, dickhead. Another one bites the fucking dust as far as I'm concerned. It pisses me off because I wasted my time, I wasted my gas, I wasted a lot, and nobody fucking deserves to be treated the way women are treated. Not just in America, but all over this fucking planet. Seriously, I met a guy recently, and I think he is the most amazing guy. He's wonderful and attentive and kind and compassionate and intelligent. He's also married, and I'm just like, why can't I find my guy? This shit is what puts me off dating, even trying, because it's like when I was trying to find the home that I now live in. I was trying to find a place to live, because my brother was did evict me under pretext, not because of anything I did, But when I was looking for this place, 99% of the people I contacted were scammers. And you may say, well, how can you know that? Because I fucking know. There are red flags all over the place. If you know which ones to look for, and if you have an ounce of fucking sense at all. Fill out this application. It'll only cost you $1. Give me your phone number. What do you look like? Do you have pictures? Why do you need to know what I fucking look like to rent me a place? They don't. Anytime any guy asks you for more pictures, he's trolling for pictures. That's it. That's all he wants. He's not interested in meeting you. He probably doesn't. That profile on there is probably a bunch of catfish bullshit. No. Fuck men. I hate almost all of you. I've never met a decent one. I mean, I have, okay. But they've been very, very few, like maybe one or two in 21 fucking years. And if you're a man and that hurts your butt, well, fuck you. You try being a fucking woman sometime, asshole. Then you can fucking come and judge us when we make videos like this. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking stand human beings. Seriously. I've yet to meet a good one. A real, real good one. You know, who, yeah. I mean, fuck. You know, I got in an argument with my landlord a few weeks ago because I had said most people are bad people. And she took exception to that, and she got angry with me. And it's like, well, wait a minute. See, that's her privilege. She's wealthy. She's her friends are wealthy. You know, this and that and this and that. Her family has supported her whole life. You know, in a variety of different ways. Mine treated me like shit and actively tried to have me thrown in jail when I had done nothing wrong. Okay? Not everybody has the same fucking life experience. So when I say, oh, most people are bad people, it's from fucking experience. I'm not just throwing that out there, you know, but these people's privilege blinds them to the suffering of others, the suffering of people like me. And so she was so overprivileged that she actually got angry with me when she said that's not true, and I defended my position, which I always do. You know, if I'm saying something, it's because I've thought about it or I've experienced it, or, you know, I'm not just, you know, talking out of my backside here. It's from actual lived experience. And when I explained to her all of the horrible things that have happened to me and how this always happens to me and on and on and on, eventually, you know, after a while she figured it out. She didn't necessarily apologize, but she came to me later on and admitted that she had privilege. The privilege which blinded her to my suffering and to my experience. So, you get men who think, you know, if I say most men are horrible people, they either get upset because they are a horrible person and they don't like themselves, and so when someone, you know, says that and they remember all the horrible things they've done, they lash out at you because you're calling them out, you know, even though you don't know them, they're getting triggered by you know, by what they've done to people. Or you have the guys who are just overprivileged cisgender men, or just privileged cisgender men. They've never had to be a woman, so they don't know what we go through. Or they have this boys will be boys bullshit mentality because they themselves act like that. You know, they treat people like shit. You know, and they get all fucking butthurt when you say that. Well, you are not in my fucking shoes. You do not know what it's fucking like. So, fuck you. When cis men bitch and moan and complain about women fucking them over financially, I have no fucking sympathy whatsoever. Fuck them. I just, no, I'm done. The only meaningful relationships I've ever had have been with women. And I've said this before, and I still kept trying, but I think I'm just going to pursue women from now on. And I'm not going to really pursue anybody, you know. I'm done with that. I'm done with trying, you know. And when you're chatting with a woman and she seems really defensive, or she seems really suspicious, or whatever, okay, don't act like an asshole to her because of all those things, because chances are she's been fucked over by tons and tons and tons of men. And she's been hurt by tons and tons and tons of fucking men. And she's had to deal with the bullshit from tons and tons of fucking men. And she's probably really defensive and really scared and really tired of all the bullshit. So just shut the fuck up, think about someone else other than yourself, and just be a good person. Don't be an asshole. Don't be like 99.9% of all other cis men. If guys acted like decent human beings, and were decent and kind, and weren't driven solely by their dicks, then guess what? There wouldn't be incels. There wouldn't be a whole bowel movement called incels. Right wingers wouldn't pander to incels. You wouldn't have as many rapes. You wouldn't have as many sexual assaults. You wouldn't have as many um, uh, spousal abuse, intimate partner abuse. You wouldn't have all of these fucking societal problems that are driven primarily by men. Primarily. Not entirely, but primarily. And of course some women are implicit in that because they sometimes help men to commit these acts. Either through direct action or indifference or support, whatever. So, yeah, I'm fucking done. No, I'm done trying. Like, I would keep hearing people talk about Tinder. And I'm like, okay, well, I haven't tried that one yet. And I know that it's not going to be any different than any of the others. I thought, what the hell? Got a lot of responses, got a lot of likes, that kind of thing, but any decent guy out there is going to have such a hard time because of how indecent all the rest of the guys are. You know? And it sucks for them. It sucks for those decent guys, those 1 in a million. Probably literally. Again, 21 years of experience talking. So, yeah. I'm not here to be someone's sex toy, plaything, um, picture giver, you know. No, I'm not. I'm not playing that fucking game. So anyway, that's it. If you're a cisgender male and you're watching this, um, get your head out of your ass. Don't be an asshole. Don't be rude. If you think about cheating on your wife, just divorce her instead. Um, if you think about cheating on your partner, just leave them instead. And if you just want sex from a woman, just jerk off instead.